Good morning, fellow Plexers. Today's video is on the fly. Very little has been prepared ahead of time, and the question is posed by someone named Ronnie, who claims that by default a Plex movie library will look to local metadata before it uses the file name to grab metadata from a cache of all the databases we know and love. So Ronnie also said that you cannot tag an MKV file, which I did not know. So every day with Plex is a school day, and some days you're the student and some days you're the teacher. So I'm going to see if Ronnie is the teacher, or if Ronnie is the student, or if it's a little of both. So what I've done is I grabbed 3 movies off my server and copied them to my local hard drive, and I picked older movies. Maybe they're in the public domain, maybe not. And I did a little preparation. I decided to have a little fun seeing I had 3, and I tagged them with the first movie trilogy. The oldest movie is tagged as Star Wars. The next oldest one is tagged as The Empire Strikes Back. And finally, the last one is tagged as Return of the Jedi. So I'm going to do one more step to make it a fair fight. These movies are already named in a complex way. So all Plex cares about when it reaches out to the cache of the databases is this right here. For this movie, Babyface with 1933 in parentheses, .mp4.mkv, that's all Plex cares about. An extra step is to add the TMDB database number, or it could be the IMDb database number. That'll make Plex match it perfectly each and every time, but with a properly matched file name to the movie database, Plex is going to match it if you're using the latest library scanner and agent setting. So this is the extra info I put into a file. FileBot does this automatically for me because I also have media info installed. So when FileBot goes to look for a name, media info tells it the media characteristics, and FileBot adds those. So I want to just be able to glance at a file and know that the resolution, know how it's encoded, and the same information for the audio stream. It just makes looking at a file easy to determine whether you should upgrade it if you have an opportunity to later. So because of that, I think that's increasing things in my favor in this test. I am going to rename them into their most basic form. So I've got a custom expression down here, but I'm just going to match them plainly. Alright, so that makes it a fair fight. So let's do this. Let's copy all 3, and there's all 3 have subtitles, but you'll see we lost the, I'm sorry, 2 of them have subtitles, but you'll see that FileBot took away the language designation when I wasn't using my custom expression. So let's fix that with these 2. Alright, so let's copy all 3 movies and the 2 subtitles to their new test library. So I have this folder already set up to go on my second volume of my Synology NAS. And we'll give it a second, or 2 or 3 or 4, and then I'll create a new test movie library with all default settings. I hope to show that in order for the local tags to be of consequence, you have to manually adjust the agent settings to bring the local media assets higher in order for that to take precedence over reaching out to the databases that Plex use to pull metadata. I know Ronnie has more experience than I do. I've been involved with Plex for about 4 years, and 3 years hot and heavy since buying a Synology NAS to get into it big time. He's got 5+ years, and again, we're going to see who can teach who a little something something about Plex. So let me go here. We'll make this full screen, and you can see I've got a bunch of libraries already. So I'm going to add a library. We'll make it a movie. Movies.test for Ronnie. We'll browse to that location. It's on volume 2 in this folder. And where is it? Test movies. All right, so this is the moment of truth. Will I see 3 Star Wars movies, or will I see the movies? Well, I saw the movies as they were supposed to be, regardless of how they were tagged. So this is a very, very short and quick confirmation that I would have to change settings of the library in order to have the tags be of consequence. Doesn't matter a damn what the tags are. I'm sorry, Ronnie. I think I might have won this little battle. But I do appreciate knowing that you can't tag an MKV file, and I tried before I made the video, so you did teach me something. So for anyone that's interested, if you dig down into the library settings, I could pick another agent or even another scanner. And I don't have a lot of experience trying to force Plex to do things what I might consider the wrong way. But let me just try picking the movie legacy option. Okay, so Plex is kind of warning me not to do that. And let's rescan this library. Let's refresh all the metadata. It's interesting how this takes longer than the initial scan. And of course, Plex is telling me that I should upgrade the library to do things the best way. Well, so nothing happened there. Let's try it once more. And if I change to personal media, I think we might have a different result. Well, no, not the result I thought. Let's refresh metadata again. So I think Ronnie actually has set his server up to use local tags instead of having settings set default as they would be if you created a new library. And he may have declined to upgrade his library scanners. I don't really know what's going on in his case. But I can't seem to easily do this without going into Plex globally and raising the precedence of the local media assets under agents. And of course, I don't want to do that because I don't want to screw up all my libraries. All right, so let's try the scanner adjustment. Let's do the Plex movie scanner instead of the default Plex movie. And I don't think there's really any other choice under agent. Yeah, so we're not really going to be able to confirm what Ronnie says as being true. I think we've actually disproved it, and you'd actually have to go into the agent settings. And I'm more of a default Plex as the latest and greatest example of Plex is, because I believe everything works out just perfectly as long as you have good file names. Not almost good file names, but good file names. So if I raise this up, because I'm using personal media currently in that test library, it would use the local tags. And I could make the same change for Plex Movie Legacy. I could drag the local media assets up, and I could do the same thing if I was pointing to the movie database. But you notice there's no option here to do any of that with the default Plex scanner. So if we back up, and I'll go back in and manage the library under Advanced, and I change everything back to how it should be. This is what we're looking at, Plex Movie. Well, changes could not be saved. I don't know why, but I've already started to bork things. I've gotten away from default settings, and Plex has already given me a problem with this library. So I don't really need to know anymore. I just know that by default, Plex does not look to local metadata tags for movies or TV shows. You really have to go make that happen on your own, no matter how long you've been using Plex, unless you've ignored updating your libraries to the latest, greatest scanner. So I'm going to end this video and ditch this test library. And thanks, Ronnie, for teaching me that MKV files cannot have tags. I did not know that. That's very interesting. I have a mixture of MP4s and MKVs. It doesn't really matter. And, oh, you know, let's let this video run a little bit longer. Let me back up, open this whole thing in FileBot, and show you the beauty of FileBot while we're doing this. Let's go to edit the preset. Okay, so this is the expression I'm using, and that's how you get the TMDB number inserted in the file name. And if you're interested, or anyone watching this is interested, just let me know and I'll send you the presets I use. You don't have to try to copy it from this video. With my 28-inch 4K dual monitor setup, FileBot is not following the scaling properly. That's why all the text is small. But if I use my default expression, you see how it adds that extra information in, and even though it's already on my NAS, I can open it on the NAS and rename, and these are can't miss file names. Oh, what is it? I think there's a movie called Emma from, is it 2006 or 1996? Same year, two different movies came out. They're Emily Dickinson. No, not Emily Dickinson. Emma. Can't think of the author's name. But two movies on the same subject came out the same year with the same name, and the only way for Plex to know which is which on the first try is to have either the TMDB number or the IMDb number in the file name. So that's about the only time Plex might miss a movie with properly named files. Thanks for watching.